Anyway, my next guest has travelled the world as a singer and songwriter, performing with a host of big names, including Gary Barlow. Now, she's just got married, has a baby on the way, and now she's preparing for her UK tour. So I'm going to find out how musician Nell Bryden fits it all in just a minute. But first, let's have a listen to her new single, Wayfarer. Wow, Nell Bryden's with me now. That looks amazing. I love all the gold makeup.
Thank you, yeah. Well, you know, I obviously have no hair, so you have to sort of make the most of it, and I realized I could be this canvas for that. It was really, really fun.
Fantastic. So your new single is Wayfarer, and the album generally feels very happy.
Yeah, it's very up-tempo, upbeat. And I think that's sort of, you know, art reflecting what I'm going through emotionally in my life right now, because I used to write a lot of cry in your beer kind of love songs, and I was out on the road quite a bit alone. And recently I've met the man of my dreams. He's my best friend.
This is Alistair, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, look at you on your wedding day. So beautiful. And you kind of hunted him down a little bit, didn't you?
I did. Well, I moved into an apartment in Notting Hill, and it's just like the movie. He was working as a manager at the restaurant across the street. And so I started going in and checking on the daily specials all the time and seeing if he was available and what was going on. He finally asked me for my phone number.
Oh, brilliant.
It took a while.
Did you tip him well?
No, you don't want to tip too well. Exactly.
Not too early on in a relationship.
Exactly.
No, very good point. Very good point. And were you at this point, because I know there was a period when you first suffered from alopecia, which was, I imagine, quite a hard thing to deal with in such an image-conscious industry, because it happened like that, didn't it?
Well, for me, it was stress-induced, and within 2 weeks, I suddenly went from having long blonde hair to having absolutely no hair whatsoever.
Crikey.
And you can imagine the level of identity change that would go for a woman. Your whole femininity is really called into question at that point. So I cried a lot, and I flew back to my mother in New York, and I kind of hid under the duvet and decided, what am I going to do next? And you know,
because did you worry that it was over at that point?
I did. I had people that I was working with at the time that said, you shouldn't tell anybody that you're going through this. It's not something you should mention. So you know, I'm lucky that I have music as this cathartic way to deal with things emotionally. I could write songs about it, and the album that I came out with then was lyrically more dark because I was going through that vulnerability.
Yeah.
But you know, there is an irony in life to exposing yourself and being open, because it made me get off that treadmill. It made me realize I did want to be someone's wife. I did want to find Mr. Right. And even though I couldn't bear the idea of being a bald bride, of walking down the aisle, and that was the worst thing. I hadn't even met Mr. Right yet, and I couldn't bear that thought. But somehow I decided this is either going to be the worst thing that ever happened to me or the best thing. It's up to me to decide.
Was there a moment when you took the wig off?
Yes.
Both on stage and with Alistair? Were they big moments for you?
They were, yes, because I wore a wig for the first year or so afterwards when I was touring. It was a very private thing that I was going through. And then right around the time when Gary Barlow asked me to come on tour with him, and I also met Alistair, so my whole life was just really blossoming. I decided that there is much more interest in being honest who you are as a songwriter, that it's more liberating for other people to see me being me rather than some photoshopped, auto-tuned, or hiding behind a mask person. And I felt like, you know, my fans really went on this journey with me, and they deserve to know the truth.
And the success has kind of flowed from there, hasn't it?
Ironically.
I mean, you've had such a full life. Still so young, you've had such a full life, and it's about to get fuller with that.
I know, it's getting fuller by the day.
But you're still performing, aren't you? And your mum did the same thing.
Yeah.
Still incredible.
Well, I think there is a family history, as you said, Kate. I have a mother who was a classical singer, and at 8.5 months pregnant, she was singing with me at Carnegie Hall. She said I was kicking away on the high notes. So, so I do feel like there is a history of doing this. I am, you know, ambitious in how much I'm doing with my touring, but once she's born, it's a little girl, and I know you have 2 girls too, so it's very exciting. Once she's born,
I have a girl and a boy actually, but to be honest, he wears so much pink.
Oh,
you could be happily forgiven for that. He does quite like his pink, really.
and so being a parent has changed your life, hasn't it? I mean,
completely.
So I'm fully expecting to be humbled by this incredible change, and
And Cher's a massive fan as well.
And Cher ended up covering a song of mine, Sirens, which
is all about 9/11 as well,
very
wasn't
personal
it?
song for me. I'm obviously from New York, and I waited 10 years to write this song, and I just really, you know, I didn't want to write about something so personal to me, but I'm glad I did, because that song has changed my life.
Well, it's fantastic to chat to you. Wayfarer, the album's out, and your singles album out on Monday, isn't it?
Yes.
Brilliant, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the big project.
Yes,
the one
it's
right
the big
there.
project now.
Nice to chat to you.
Thank you.